Okay guys, if you're watching this video, you're probably in search of a durable, warm, high performance long john or base layer. Over the years, I've tried about every single material for base layers, and while almost all of them claim to be, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread, a lot of them didn't perform up to my expectations. Maybe my expectations are set a little bit too high. But I do have quite a bit of experience dealing with cold weather and proper layering and dressing for cold weather and stuff like that. And I've tried numerous materials, and maybe you guys have too, and that's why you're watching this video. But I've tried merino wool made by Icebreaker. Pretty good product. It's all right, not super durable. But I've tried merino wool. I've tried, this is Columbia Bugaboo or Omni Heat, Columbia Omni Heat. This is 100% polyester, so I've tried polyester. I've tried, let's see, these are kind of military issue. I think it's Wicks, like extended cold weather layer system or clothing system. So I believe these are 100% polypropylene. They melt very easily and they stink after the first day you wear them, but they're pretty thick and they're lightweight. So this is polypropylene, top and bottom. I've tried, this is an expedition weight or a thicker weight, but again, this is polyester, but it's a kind of a lightweight fleece made by Cabela's. It's from Cabela's. So I've tried fleece, thick fleece. This is a cheaper merino wool. I got this a long time ago. Hold on, I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure it feels like alpaca. So it's made by Winchester, like the firearms company. 100% merino wool made in China. And while it is merino wool, it is a lot itchier than higher end merino wools. And then this pair is Cabela's. This is polypropylene. So this is another polypropylene. I didn't even know I had these, but I've probably worn these only a handful of times. So this is polypropylene. Now, I'm not going to go through every single fabric or every single one I just mentioned and name the problems, but just quickly, I've found that polypropylene dries very quickly and it wicks very easily if it's a thin polypropylene, but you wear it one day, and if you're sweating or even if you don't sweat, you wear it one day and it stinks. It's a really horrible smell. Then you gotta wash it. Now when you dry it, you got to be really careful because it melts very easily. So if you tumble dry it at medium or even high heat or even medium heat, you can melt the fibers. It's a very plasticky type fabric. So you got to tumble dry it on low, and it's kind of a lot of maintenance, for a base layer that you can only wear one day and it stinks really bad. So you got to wash it and repeat the process. So polypropylene, I'm not a fan of. Polyester, the same thing. It's a little more hardy and it doesn't seem to melt as easily. But again, it picks up a really horrible smell. Silk is all right. Cotton for a base layer, I'm not a huge fan of, just because it wets out really easy. And then merino wool. So I like merino wool. It's, if you get a high end like Icebreaker, it's very comfortable on your skin. It kind of feels like cotton, and it performs a lot like cotton. When it does wet out, and when I say wet out, what I mean is your body soaking the entire garment in sweat. And there are a couple ways to avoid that, but not 100%. So it's almost guaranteed your base layer will get a little bit damp. But when merino wool does wet out, it takes a long time to dry. And while it's drying, you have a high chance of getting really chilled. The problem with merino wool I found is it's not super durable. So I've bought multiple pair of, like Icebreaker, I've tried Smart Wool, and I've tried -33. And there's other ones, I know, but -33, Smart Wool, and Icebreaker. And I just have settled on the Icebreaker, find it to fit the best, and I find it to be the most comfortable. But with all three of them, one thing I found out is the merino wool is not super conducive to high durability or abrasion resistance. And a lot of people will be like, well, it's a base layer, so it won't be exposed to abrasion. But actually, what I mean by abrasion is that fabric rubbing up against the next fabric that you're wearing. Those fabrics rubbing together. With merino wool, I've ran into problems. The elbows, the shoulder right here tends to wear out. And they also, unless there's some lycra or spandex, once you wear them for a couple days, they get really loose and they stretch out. So they don't. You do kind of want your base layer to be kind of form fitting for it to perform at 100% while not being tight and cutting off circulation. So that merino wool, after you wear it a couple days, it kind of gets more comfortable because it's looser. But at that point, it's not. It's not really. It's at that point more of an insulating layer and not as much of a base layer. So I finally found what I believe to be, out of the ones I talked about, which is pretty much all the other fabrics, one of the best, and I understand that's a big word, but one of the better or top end base layers. Now, again, your base layer isn't really designed to insulate. It does insulate in a sense because it's wicking sweat away from your skin, and when sweat pools up on your body and then you get that convective wind and cold weather combined, that's when you get chilled. So kind of the main, like base layers, they do insulate, but the way they insulate is they suck or they transport your sweat from your skin through the fabric to away from your skin, if that makes sense. So it's wicking. So that's kind of its main goal as base layers. And I think I've probably found one of the best ones out there. And I'm saying best for a couple reasons. First, it's not super expensive, comparatively speaking, compared to other fabrics. Second, it's very durable. Third, it dries super quick. And it actually has kind of a cool design to it. And again, it's also locally sourced. But it's made by Duluth Trading Company, and I'll leave a link below. It's made by Duluth Trading Company. It's called the Buck Naked Performance Underwear or Undershirt. So this is the short sleeve version, and later, maybe in later videos, I'll talk why I'm not a huge fan of long sleeve base layers. But it's kind of cool because this fabric's really comfortable against your skin. Like I said, it's really durable. Like I've had this one, I don't know how long, but it's very durable, and it has some spandex in it, so it has stretch. It doesn't seem to stretch out as much as some of the other fabrics, but I have this in the long sleeve versions, and then I have long johns, and then I have lots of pairs of the boxers. Part of the reason why they're called Buck Naked is kind of their claim to fame, and they claim that it transports moisture so well that it feels like you're buck naked, so you don't feel like you're burdened by tons of clothing. And that statement is for the most part kind of true. This fabric, I've just to test this out, I've like soaked it in water, wrung it out, put it on, and granted, I was inside, but it's kind of chilly, 60, 65, and I was inside, and it was kind of astonishing, but within the matter of a couple minutes, it felt dry to the touch. And, I took it off, and it didn't feel that heavy. I compared it to a bone dry one, and it had a sense of still being wet, but it didn't feel that much heavier, so it dries amazingly quick. The other thing is nylon tends to be more durable or more abrasion resistant than polyesters. And then nylon, in my findings at least, doesn't seem to retain as much of an odor as polyester or polypropylene. With that being said, it doesn't do as well as cotton, merino wool, or silk, but it does fairly well for a synthetic. And I guess in my opinion, this being nylon, it's one of the best fabrics for a base layer. And again, it's not thick. It's kind of a diamond print, and it's not thick because the thicker the base layer is, the more resistance your sweat has to get wicked away from your body. So if you have too thick of a base layer, what you'll run into is your base layer will constantly be in a moist state and it will be saturated. Even if it's a high-tech nylon, polyester, stuff like that, and the fabric's too thick, your sweat is encountering too much resistance. So technically it's not wicking, it's more insulating. But yes, it's very thin, and when you put it on, you won't get a warmth feeling because, like I said, the base layer is more to transport perspiration away from your body, not so much to trap warmth. And then on top of this, like I showed, or maybe I didn't show, but on top of this, like I was just outside in 10, 15 degree weather for a couple hours just doing different chores. And on top of this, all I was wearing is a cotton flannel. And then on top of that, I was wearing a lightweight puffy vest, pair of gloves, hat, and I was super comfortable. When I mean comfortable, I don't mean nice, toasty, warm. Because if you feel nice, toasty, warm, and you're outside and you're working or doing chores and stuff like that. If you feel nice, toasty, warm, it means that your body's sweating. So I felt comfortable, but what I mean by comfortable is I didn't feel really hot and clammy, but I also didn't feel really cold. So overall, I'm not going to show the bottoms because that's just weird, but it's made out of the same fabric. I have it tucked in because that's just a technique I found. It performs a little bit better. But it's a really cool fabric. Like I said, it's super durable. It's stretchy. You know, I wear this for gym shirts, and I pretty much wear this every day. But like overall durability wise, you get all range of motion. It really doesn't feel like I'm wearing a shirt right now. But yeah, Duluth Trading Company is called their Buck Naked. They make long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts. I think they make tank tops, V-necks, normal crew neck. They make short boxers, briefs, mid-length boxers, long boxers. So I wear those instead of full-length long johns, and those extended or those extra long boxers, they kind of go right above your knee, and then you wear tall wool socks, and that way your knee, which is kind of the only thing moving when you're walking, stuff like that, isn't encumbered by tons of layers of fabric. That's just what I do. But then they also do make full-length long john bottoms like pants or leggings or spandex or whatever they're called. And to the women out there, I'm almost positive that they do make this in a woman's line too. I've only tried the men's line, but I believe they make a woman's line too, and it's made out of the same exact fabric, so I'd assume that it would perform just as well. But overall, this is kind of the best base layer I found for all activities related to cold weather. And again, like I'll just wear this when I'm at home lounging around. It's very, very comfortable. It's not super expensive. It's very durable. It dries super quick, and it performs, and it does what it's supposed to do. It transports moisture very well. Again, if you guys like this video, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. If you're a new subscriber, go back to my homepage and watch some of my current videos. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe and support my channel. But we'll catch you on the next video.